Hey humans, and welcome to Read to Me, Matt Dunn. I'm Matt Dunn, and Gamora's back. Better than ever. She never really left. She likes to be finicky. Finicky! Finicky! Before I get started, I'd like to let everyone know that I have an email address which I can be reached at talktomattdunn@gmail.com. It's in my about section below the description in the description below this video. Feel free to email me if because for some reason the comment system is glitchy. So feel free to email me. Let me know what you think. If you want me to share the email, I will be more than happy to share the email if you like for it to be public. You know what I mean? Like, hey, shout out to shouting out. You know what I mean? So, you know how it goes. Mi casa es su casa. Right? That's what that means? Anyway. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. We are on chapter 37. Wow! Ha! The two gentlemen left Rosings the next morning, and Mr. Collins, having been in waiting near the lodges to make them his parting obeisance, was able to bring home the pleasing intelligence of their appearing in very good health, and in as tolerable spirits as could be expected after the melancholy scene so lately gone through at Rosings. The melancholy scene. To Rosings he then hastened to console Lady Catherine and her daughter, and on his return brought back with great satisfaction a message from her ladyship, importing that she felt herself so dull as to make her very desirous of having them all to dine with her. Lady Catherine. Elizabeth could not see Lady Catherine without recollecting that, had she chosen it, she might by this time have been presented to her as her future niece. Because Mr. Darcy is the nephew, and she's the aunt of Darcy. Aunt Darcy. So that's why she would be the niece. Nor could she think without a smile of what her ladyship's indignation would have been. What would she have said? How would she have behaved? Were questions with which she amused herself. So maybe she's just in the back of her mind being like, if I did marry this guy, it'd be like putting a punch to people's faces. Aha! She is the Slumdog Millionaire. Their first subject was the diminution of the Rosings party. I assure you, I feel it exceedingly, said Lady Catherine. I believe nobody feels the loss of friends so much as I do, but I am particularly attached to these young men. I'm so attached to them, it's weird. And now know them to be so much attached to me. They are so attached to me. They were excessively sorry to go, but so they always are. The dear colonel rallied his spirits tolerably till just at last. But Darcy seemed to feel it most acutely, more, I think, than last year. His attachment to Rosings certainly increases. Bullshit! Ha ha, bullshit! He's there for Elizabeth. He can give a fuck about Rosings. He can give a fuck about Rosings. Ain't gonna give a fuck about Rosings. Drawing up on these toesies. Gonna propose to Elizabeth. Giving her proposies. I don't know. Mr. Collins had a compliment and an allusion to throw in there, which were kindly smiled on by the mother and daughter. Lady Catherine observed, after dinner, that Miss Bennet seemed out of spirits, and immediately accounting for it herself by supposing that she did not like to go home again so soon, she added, she's so acute with her attention to detail. Derpy derp. She knows everything. Am I right? A derpy derp? Ya derp and derp. Anyway, but if that is the case, you must write to your mother to beg that you may stay a little longer. Mrs. Collins will be very glad of your company, I am sure. I am much obliged to your ladyship for your kind invitation, replied Elizabeth. But it is not in my power to accept it. I must be in town next Saturday. Why? At that rate, you will have been here only 6 weeks. Oh my God, let's make it even 2 years. I expected you to stay 2 months. I told Mrs. Collins so before you came. There can be no occasion for your going so soon. Mrs. Bennet could certainly spare you for another fortnight. But my father cannot. He wrote last week to hurry my return. He did, probably. Oh, your father, of course, may spare you, if your mother can. Daughters are never of so much consequence to a father. And if you will stay another month complete, it will be in my power to take one of you as far as London. For I am going there early in June. For a week, and as Dawson does not object to the Baroque box, there will be very good room for one of you. And indeed, if the weather should happen to be cool, I should not object to taking you both, as you are neither of you large. Oh, you are all kindness, madame, but I believe we must abide by our original plan. It's already written down in the stars. Lady Catherine seemed resigned. Mrs. Collins, you must send a servant with them. You know I always speak my mind, and I cannot bear the idea of 2 young women traveling post by themselves. It is highly improper. You must contrive to send somebody. I have the greatest dislike in the world to that sort of thing. Young women should always be properly guarded and attended according to their situation in life. When my niece Georgina went to Ramsgate last summer, I made a point of having 2 men servants go with her. Miss Darcy, the daughter of Mr. Darcy of Pemberley, and Lady Anne could not have appeared with propriety in a different manner. But I am excessively attentive to all those things. You must send John with the young ladies, Mrs. Collins. I am glad it occurred to me to mention it, for it really, it would really be discreditable to you to let them go alone. Yeah, that's what she said. She said, if you send him alone, I will not speak to you ever again. That's not what she said. She said that you're going to be a piece of shit. Ugly fucking piece of shit married to an ugly fucking piece of shit. My uncle is to send a servant for us. Oh, your uncle. He keeps a manservant, does he? I am very glad you have somebody who thinks of those things. Where shall you change horses? Oh, Bromley? Of course. If you mention my name at the bell, you will be attended to. And put in the code hashtag Miss. You get 10% off. Lady Catherine had many other questions to ask respecting their journey, and as she did not answer them all herself, attention was necessary. Which Elizabeth believed to be lucky for her, or with a mind so occupied she might have forgotten where she was. Reflection must be reserved for solitary hours. Whenever she was alone, she gave way to it as the greatest relief. And not a day went by without a solitary walk in which she might indulge in all the delight of unpleasant recollections. Mr. Darcy's letter she was in a fair way of soon knowing by heart. She studied every sentence, and her feelings toward its writer were at times widely different. When she remembered the style of his address, she was still full of indignation, but when she considered how unjustly she had condemned and upbraided him, her anger was turned against herself, and his disappointed feelings became the object of compassion. His attachment excited gratitude, his general character respect, but she could not approve him, nor could she for a moment repent her refusal or feel the slightest inclination ever to see him again. In her own past behavior there was a constant source of vexation and regret, and in the unhappy defects of her family, a subject of yet heavier chagrin. They were hopeless of remedy. Her father, contented with laughing at them, would never exert himself to restrain the wild giddiness of his youngest daughters, and her mother, with manners so far from right herself, was entirely insensible of the evil. Elizabeth had frequently united with Jane in an endeavor to check the imprudence of Catherine and Lydia, but while they were supported by their mother's indulgence, what chance could there be of improvement? Catherine, weak-spirited, irritable, and completely under Lydia's guidance, had been always affronted by their advice, and Lydia, self-willed and careless, would scarcely give them a hearing. They were ignorant, idle, and vain. While there was an officer in Meryton, they would flirt with him, and while Meryton was within a walk of Longbourn, they would be going there forever. Anxiety on Jane's behalf was another prevailing concern, and Mr. Darcy's explanation, by restoring Bingley to all her former good opinion, heightened the sense of what Jane had lost. Yes. Oh, hey, Gamora. Hello. She likes when I scratch behind her ear. Anxiety on, let's read this again because we just love the sound of it, don't we? Anxiety on Jane's behalf was another prevailing concern. And Mr. Darcy's explanation, by restoring Bingley to all her former good opinion, heightened the sense of what Jane had lost. His affection was proved to have been sincere, and his conduct clear of all blame, unless any could attach to the implicitness of his confidence in his friend. How grievous then was the thought that of a situation so desirable in every respect, so replete with advantage, so fucking promising for happiness, Jane had been deprived by the folly and indecorum of her own fucking family. Poor Jane. When to these recollections was added the development of Wickham's character, it may be easily believed that the happy spirits which had seldom been depressed before were now so much affected as to make it almost impossible for her to appear tolerably cheerful. Their engagements at Rosings were as frequent during the last week of her stay as they had been at first. The very last evening were spent there. The very last evening was spent there, and her ladyship again inquired minutely into the particulars of their journey, gave them directions as to the best method of packing, and was so urgent on the necessity of placing gowns in the only right way that Maria thought herself obliged on her return to undo all the work of the morning and pack her trunk afresh. When they parted, Lady Catherine, with great condescension, wished them a good journey, and invited them to come to Hunsford again next year. Good journey. And Miss de Bourgh exerted herself so far as to curtsy and held out her hand to both. A good journey. Wow, we are on so many letters. So many Roman numerals. I can't believe it. It's a brand new day. I put my book on the book thing, everybody. Hey, look here. Thanks for checking these videos out. Again, if the comments are glitchy and they are not appearing, please write me an email. Let me know. I don't know what to do about it. I don't fix that stuff. But let me know. Email me. Email's in the about description down below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to write some comments down below, try to do it. If it doesn't work out, like I said, email me. Subscribe to the button. Hey, excuse me, I burped. You got me. It is time to stay weird. Please stay weird. Keep weird. Be weird. Be weird. I like that one. I'm going to say be weird from now on. You heard it. From here on out, be weird.